We're going to take a look at the 360 fly, and what better way to do it than through a 360 video. I've been having an awesome time trying to figure out the 360 video, and of course the first camera that I've tried is this 360 Fly by 360 Fly. Now if you're watching from any of my podcast channels, this may look really weird. It's actually in 360 mode, which means you either need a 360 player to view it, or go to youtube.com/Geekazine to check it out from there. Of course, you can also watch it spherical, just like this, no problem. Now, the hardware I'm using is called the 360 Fly. It's a half-spherical camera. What it is a camera that doesn't do a full, it does 360 around, but it doesn't do a full spherical view. So the top is a little bit cut off. You'll see that, but you'll see as I'm walking around, you'll still be able to see me and hear me as we go. I have this 360 camera pointed down. You can also have it pointed up, but of course it's not going to capture, in this case it's not going to capture the top, but if I have it the other way it's not going to capture the bottom. I do have a boom stand, as you can see over here. I do have the boom stand holding it up, and of course another camera doing the recording and capturing most of the audio. So that also means I could hang it from a ceiling or a tree branch or something like that to really capture the downside, because you can get down here, but of course nothing up here that's lying to you. Of course, this is what the 360 Fly looks like in the upright position on a regular tripod. It's a little bit different, and it might be a little bit upside down. Now let's talk about the specs of the 360 Fly. It's a 1504 by 1504, 27 frames per second, at about 20 megabytes, and recording in BBR mode. The lens is an 8-element glass ultra fisheye lens at 0.88 and an aperture of f2.5, which means it'll capture as much as possible of the surroundings. It is a fixed focus lens, so you don't have to worry about any of that fine tuning. Now the camera itself not only looks like a new-aged golf ball, but it's almost waterproof. I say that because the microphone needs to be covered to be fully waterproof. There's one button on the unit and no LCD display. There's an LED light right next to the button that's basically RGB. You press it once and it'll turn blue or blink blue, telling you that it's ready to pair with a Wi-Fi device. When you push the button, it'll start the recording, and then it'll turn that light red. When you stop the recording by pushing the button, it will then go back to blue, and then of course when you hold the button down for 2 seconds, you'll turn it off. In charge mode, the charge mode is either green or yellow, depending on the charge status. Of course, if you download the app on your iPhone or Android, you'll actually be able to see exactly what the camera is recording at the time. It also allows you to do things such as change your contrast, change your brightness, your ISO. And if you bring it up to eye level and move it around, the phone will actually move around like you're viewing from the camera, turning and up and down as you go. The camera needs Bluetooth or Wi-Fi set up for you to be able to do this. Wi-Fi 802.11 BGN. There is a 4K unit coming out very soon, and I'm not sure if that is going to change on the standards for the Wi-Fi. Now, the 360 Fly has an internal 32 gigabytes worth of memory, so it's basically about 2 hours worth of record time. It also has a 1600 milliamp battery, which also means that you can record or have it on for about 2 hours as you go. That's basically the specs of the 360 Fly, but is this 360 camera worth your $400? We're going to take a look at all the pros and cons next. Over there is the state capital of Madison. You can kind of see it through the trees. And then over here is Lake Mendota, which is a beautiful lake. Somebody's on a couple boats are out there right now. For $399, this 360 Fly does a perfect job for video. Of course, daytime setting is the best. Nighttime, it get a little bit grainy, but depends on what you are doing in the nighttime, recording bands or just trying to get nightlife or whatever. The problem that I really have is the design and all the options with it, and we're going to go over that right now. We're going to start with these locking mechanisms, one out of the case here. This is what the 360 Fly is actually on. It's a little locking mechanism that has a little pin that you basically put into the bottom of the camera and you twist to secure it. Now, this then attaches to a couple other ones that then have double-sided tape, so you can stick it on your helmet or stick it on your car. And of course, you can also get special attachments for it, so you can put it onto mounts and other things. One thing that's a little bit frustrating is it doesn't have an actual camera mount. That's another $20 out of your pocket if you want to get it. It'd be easy to actually include that in the package. But they do give you a GoPro adapter for the Gopro Mount, which is how I have mine set up. This is the charge cradle, and if you take a look at it, there's absolutely no locking mechanism to it. It's a magnetic charge, so basically it will attract to exactly where it needs to be for the charge. You can also use this as your PC or Mac cable, so you can pull the videos right from there. And the reason why this is a problem is because with no locking mechanism, that means that I cannot put on an external power source to let this run a little bit longer. The other thing that it had on this main one was this tether line, and I thought the tether line was actually going to be to hold the camera in place, just in case something failed and it didn't go flying off in the distance. No, actually this tether is actually holding this little plug, and this little plug is what plugs up the microphone port to make this a totally waterproof camera. Overall, the size of this golf ball is about 2.5 inches. Now, there are some other 360 cameras that are a little bit smaller in size, height-wise, so they can fit on your drone, so they can fit in different places. I did hook this up to my Phantom DJI Phantom 2, and I did fly it around. It did a great job. Another disappointment was the software that I had to use for this. The biggest problem with the 360 camera is you have to make the proper metadata so you can watch this in 360 view. Now, the 360 Fly software did not put the metadata in there, so I had a few attempts to try and upload it to YouTube, upload it to Facebook, and not make it look like a big spherical ball. So by the second time, when I finally put the metadata in, which is a downloadable file that you get, and then uploaded the file, what it did was pinched one of the sides, and it looked really odd. Of course, you can go up to youtube.com/Geekazine to see it. Ultimately, I had to use some other software to finally get the 360 view that I needed so you can actually see this video in a decent format. Now, even though you can record for 2 hours on the 360 Fly, the problem is when you're done with your recording. If you're doing an all-day recording with 360, this might not work for you, simply because of the fact that after 2 hours, you have to take it off, put it on the cradle, hook it up to the PC, not to mention charge the battery on there, which will also take a couple hours. So you'll need a couple 360 Flies just to switch out every so often. Finally, as you can see, they gave me a case for the docks, but they didn't give me a case for the camera itself. Now, I really don't care if the docks get all scratched up. I do care if the camera gets scratched up, and they're not giving me an opportunity to keep it as pristine as possible. Overall, for $400, the video is decent, and I'm expecting the 4K version to be even better in quality. What lost it for me was all the adapters, how they adapted, how they hooked up, and of course the tether line being able to secure it a little bit better, and many different other things. Changeable batteries, changeable SD card. These are all things that I prefer in my 360 camera. But the question is that something you need for your 360 camera? Will the 360 Fly work for you? Let me know. Tweet me over at Geekazine, geekazine@gmail.com. Think magazine, put in a geek, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot for watching this 360 video with all the cool noises in the background. Downtown Madison, Wisconsin. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Until then, you guys, geek out.